Do you frequently get very intense tinnitus spikes that affect your work, your family, your sleep, or your ability to relax? My name is tinnitus coach Friede. I was born deaf in my left ear. I have a hearing aid and a severe high-pitched tinnitus for the past 15 years now. And if you are frequently experiencing debilitating tinnitus spikes and are feeling very, very anxious about them, then pay attention and get ready for a transformative video and a very important insight into the nature of tinnitus spikes, how your nervous system reacts to tinnitus spikes, and how you can start changing your brain's reaction while you are experiencing tinnitus spike, which will make it a lot easier to go through the spike, to come out the other side and set your brain up for tinnitus habituation. Welcome. So welcome back to another video on my channel. I know it is terrifying if you are suffering through a spike right now and your tinnitus is really affecting all major areas of your life. I know it is difficult. I've been there as well personally with my journey, with my one deaf ear, my hearing aid and my tinnitus. And I know that a lot of people that I've worked with have been in there too. It's never easy, right? Even when I work with the people, I know and acknowledge the fact that it isn't easy, but there is a way forward. And I've helped hundreds of people get through very intense tinnitus spikes. So let's start with the first part, which is understanding what's actually happening when you are going through a spike. The spike actually puts the brain in a fight or flight mode. So of course, because you have been experiencing tinnitus as something very bothersome, because it has affected your life, it has affected your quality of work and sleep and ability to rest and be with family and friends, it's very normal that as soon as the perception of the tinnitus increases, your brain goes into a state of fight or flight where it says, we need to be activated in order to fight this because we've learned that this is dangerous. I know that for a lot of people, not all of them, I'm not talking about all people, but for a lot of people, the tinnitus doesn't in fact necessarily always get louder. It's the attention and the anxiety increase the perception of your tinnitus, and therefore it is perceived as a spike or very intense fluctuations. So also the stress hormones that come with fight or flight, right? Cortisol and adrenaline, they amplify that perception. Because when you are in the savannah and a lion is charging at you, what happens? All the senses get very heightened. Your ears are very high, very heightened, very much paying attention to every minor sound or changes. And as you have learned to identify tinnitus as a threat and something that's really impacting on your quality of life, it's only natural that this would be amplified, because of course it's something that your brain says, we should get rid of this, we should do something about this, because this is very dangerous to me, right? So it's not really only the sound, but it's the reaction. I'm going to tell you at the end of this video what I do, someone who has tinnitus in his remaining right ear, one deaf ear and a hearing aid, and the tinnitus is really quite intense. I can hear it outside in a 4-lane street. But what I do when I get a spike meaning that it is so loud that I can barely hear anything else. But the goal, right? The goal to what we do when we have a spike is not to not have the spike or have silence again or to immediately go back to baseline, but the goal is to shift our response to the spike and be able to better and more effectively respond, so our nervous system does not always connect a tinnitus fluctuation immediately with danger, right? So the first step that I wanted to give you after understanding what's actually happening during a tinnitus spike is how to bring a little bit more space from thoughts that create panic and anxiety during a tinnitus spike. So naming the fear is one technique. So the sentence or the thought, it'll never get better and this is permanent, or my life is ruined, can be diffused a little bit from. In cognitive behavior therapy and acceptance and commitment therapy, we call diffusion, because we are not so fused with our thoughts anymore. We don't believe them always. I always say, I could have just won 10 million in the lottery, but I probably haven't. So that's a nice thought, but it's just a thought and it's not true. So the same is with the thought, it'll never get better, the spike is permanent, I will never feel better. And you can use, for example, a diffusion phrase like saying, I'm having the thought that I will never get better. And just try to repeat it now in your brain. Try to repeat it. Say the sentence, I'll never get better. And then say the sentence again and say, I'm having the thought I'll never get better. And here's one more extension. I'm noticing, I'm having the thought, it will never get better. Try those 3 techniques and let me know in the comments down below how these worked for you and whether you felt any different towards these statements. And now I want to teach you something for the second part, which is, of course, with the spike, a lot more difficult. It's our feelings. It's our emotional reaction. It's our overwhelm. And in the same way that we do diffusion from thoughts, we also tame the emotions around the spike. And by the way, all of this you will find in a very structured manner inside our 12 weeks course at www.mytinnitus.club. So if you haven't checked it out yet, I can only suggest you go there because we have fantastic member success stories also here on my YouTube channel. So if you go into the Tinnitus success story playlist here on my YouTube channel, you'll find amazing success stories from people who have been through our program. The tool of TAME. TAME actually stands for something. TAME stands for tune in gently, allow, make room, and engage. And let's start with T. So tame, tune in gently, means notice the spike with curiosity, saying what has actually changed. My auditory perception has changed. Okay, what can I hear? How does the tone change? And also, what am I feeling right now? Physically and emotionally, right? Without immediately judging. So just to tune in is the first step, right? Just tune into it, right? Without judging it immediately. Second thing is allow discomfort and sensations without trying to immediately change them, right? And with not resisting it, right, you don't fuel the spike. Because what do you do when we resist our thoughts and feelings? Often they get stronger, right? We fight against the feeling that we do not want the spike to be here, and then we resist it, and then we are in this continuous battle with feelings and thoughts. The amount of attention we pay onto tinnitus just gets higher and higher and higher. Then allowing begins to deflate your reaction to it. But after A, we have M, and M is make room. Make room to experience whatever is there. Use slow breathing, like taking 4 seconds in breath and 6 seconds out breath. Hold a gentle posture. Hold your hand on where you most feel the feelings. I often feel feelings of anxiety and difficulty in my stomach. You can gently say to yourself, it's okay to feel this right now, right? Because remember, when you resist feeling like this, you're battling with reality. The reality is you're feeling this right now and you're having a difficult spike, and that's all right. And then E is for engage. Take on a value-based action. And this is one of the core principles in acceptance and commitment therapy. Taking on value-based actions is to do things even in the face of discomfort. Acceptance and commitment therapy goes from the fact that we all as human beings have 80% negative thoughts throughout the day, every single one, if you have tinnitus or not. So it's quite normal that we have negative feelings as well. And the premise here is that we do not want to get rid of them, but we want to engage in life despite all the difficulties, right? Even if you were perfectly cured of tinnitus, then you would still have a lot of difficulties in life, and that's normal and okay. So acceptance and commitment therapy allows us to engage in the things that we most find value and importance in, despite the presence of discomfort. And as soon as we can do that, we can teach our brain that despite the perception of the tinnitus or an intense fluctuation, we can focus on the things that most matter to us in life. You can drink a little bit of water. You can, be gentle with yourself. Call a friend. Do things that matter to you. That's the E for engage. And as a whole, you have tame. And the most important thing about tame is that you allow your brain and your body to feel everything that is reality for you in this very moment. And it's very important to know how you can reinforce this. and to improve your brain's understanding of where you are with your tinnitus and what you can do in order to get better. Habituation means there's a long-term change in the brain's response to tinnitus. And spikes are absolute normal part of that process. It's not a proof that you're failing. It's not a proof that you're different than everyone else. Every single person, I always say, if you're human and if you have a brain, you can habituate to tinnitus. So it's absolute normal part of the process that you have a spike, that you have intense fluctuations, and that they feel difficult. So the fact that you're here and you're watching this video means you're already doing the work of committing to getting through this fluctuation or spike. One of the final things that I can say, progress is never linear. It fluctuates, it oscillates. You're still moving forward. Now I'm going to share with you what I do when my tinnitus spikes. But before, I want to say a little bit about my tinnitus.club. In our 12 weeks program, you will learn all the different tools of acceptance and commitment therapy, learning how to diffuse from negative thoughts, how to make space for emotions. So it's a lot easier to go through these difficult times and teach your brain the steps that you need to learn in order to go from bothersome to non-bothersome tinnitus and to habituate in the long run with us. And so, what am I doing during an intense tinnitus spike? Well, I can tell you right now, I am actually using my little racing seat down here. So I have a racing seat. I have currently stored some stuff in there, but I am using a racing seat and I play Formula 1, Gran Turismo and stuff like that, and I just get distracted from my spike. And sometimes after I play for a few hours, it's gone. Sometimes it's a little bit less. Sometimes it's not. But I give myself permission to do something that I like and enjoy. And since the weather is suggesting me to end this edit and this video soon, and I've already told you what I do through a spike, my resources are all below in the description, where you can also find my free 4-day tinnitus mini course. And thank you very much for tuning in this week. I wish you all the best. I hope it's been a helpful video for you. If it is, then please like and subscribe, hit the notification button so you never miss a new episode releasing here on my YouTube channel. And I thank you all for your support. It's not easy to create a business yourself. Last year I've been going through burnout myself, but I'm getting better and I love what I do, and I'd love to support you on your way too. All the best, and hear you next one. Goodbye.